Hey trappers, Dale Billingsley here, Billingsley Brand Lures. So we've got our beaver skinned. Now I'm going to show y'all how I scrape them. Now there's a multitude of ways you can do it. This is just the way that I do it, and it's the way that I've found to be the fastest for me. If you figure out a method for you that works better, then by all means that's what you want to do. And the most important thing to do is to find a knife, a scraping knife that fits you. There are several different models, several different styles. Find one that you can get along with and that works for you. So with that being said, we'll get things set up here and we'll get started. All right, guys, so we've got our beaver here and we've got him on the beam. Now, the most important thing you have to do before you start scraping anything is run a fur comb through it. Now, a fur comb will make you more money than anything else you have in your fur shed. Whether you process your fur, scrape, stretch, and dry it, or whether you sell it green, a fur comb will make you more money than anything else going. I'll never forget one time I was at a fur buyer's when I was just a kid. I was probably 12, 14 years old at the very most. And an old boy, coon were still good money back then. I mean, they were still bringing $23 on the average. And this old boy brought a coon in, froze, out straight, long, skinned, but froze, and just a pure mud ball. And the buyer offered him $3 for it. And this old boy jumped about that high in the air. And he's like, what in the world are you talking about? $3. And the fur buyer told him this, and I'll never forget it. He said, when you go buy a new car, don't you like it to smell nice and look nice? And the guy said, well, yeah, what's that got anything to do with it? Fur buyer pointed down and he said, that's my new car. So I've always taken that to heart, and I've always kept that in my head. Always make your fur look the very best as you possibly can. Somebody's going to get paid to do that. It just will be you versus somebody else. So with that being said, comb that fur out and make sure there are no burrs, no mud balls, anything like that in it. Because if there is, and you come across it with this knife, you're going to knock a hole. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and get started here. So we got our beaver on our beam. We've got our knife. This is the knife that I like to use. It's a little heavier than the others that are on the market. I personally like a knife that's got some weight to it. I can let the weight of the knife do a lot of the work for me. Now, I like to start in the middle of the beaver and versus up here towards the head. I like to start in the middle of his back. And you've got to be really careful because there's no fat here. It's just a membrane, and that membrane is really thin. So you lay your knife up here, and it's all, scraping is all about angles. And once you get the angle figured out, there's nothing to it. Just take that knife and just start shaving. Shave all the way down. Get that membrane and get it rolling. And don't be scared, because guys, I'm telling you, you're going to knock a hole. I knock holes in it to this day. It's just part of it. It happens. Keep that hide pulled up to you. The closer you can keep your work to you, the easier it is, the better off you're going to be. Come off the end of it here. Just take the knife, sharp side of it. That's something I needed to tell y'all too, in case you don't know. You have two different sides to a knife. This is your sharp side. This is your dull side. This is made for pushing. This is made for slicing. So just wanted you to understand that. And I pull the beaver back up here where I started, and I turn him a quarter. And then I start working towards his belly. And once you get up here, get that broke open, get it moving. When you get about right there, you'll feel that. You'll feel that start to break and go really easy. Then you can push that off. That'll all push off there then. Turn him an eighth. And go again. And it's just like skinning. Speed will come. The more you do, the faster you'll get. Turn your beaver again. Come right down towards his back leg. Knife handle's getting slick. Come again right over here to where his hind end would be. Get cat off. Now turn your knife and start pushing. Here it's still a little hard, but it's going to get easier as you go. Turn your beaver. Come up here where he's ahead of his back leg. Then right over top of the back leg. There's his back leg. Now we've got 1/4 of that beaver done already. Whatever you do when you drop your knife, do not try to catch it. You will end up cut severely. Now you just start in on the other side the same exact way. Once you feel it break, stop. Again, back here towards his tail, down to the back leg. Now we're ready to start pushing on him. Make sure you get him clean. That's the biggest thing. And if you don't, when you look at him, after you get him stretched, when you look at him, you see some fat pockets. Just take a knife, a regular knife, and just open those up. That way they can go ahead and drain out. All right. Now we've got our beaver half done. Now we cut up here at his head, hook his nose over the beam. Make sure he's laying straight down the beam. There's no wrinkles. A lot of times there'll be a couple of big fat chunks and meat chunks up there at his head and his ears. Just go ahead and knock them off. Take a swath out of the middle of him. Pull off there. Now turn your beaver again, just like we did on the back half. And again, this time we're going to the front leg. Once you feel it break, stop pushing or stop cutting. What it is, it's going to get really thin on you there on their belly. Their belly tears very easy. And right here between his ear and his front leg is the hardest place to go. It's the hardest place to do because it's tough, but yet it's tender also, so you got to be careful. You got big chunks of meat and stuff hanging, wanting to drag that hide away from you, just cut them off, get rid of them. All right, now we're ready to push this beaver off. if you're going to do a bunch of beaver, do yourself a favor and get a wider beam. I don't have my beaver beam set up yet, but the wider the beam you have on beaver, the better off you are. I'm on top of that front leg. Clean up under that leg a little. Roll him just a hair. Clean that up a little more over the top of his leg. Now we've got our beaver 3/4 of the way done. Now pull him around here and go the other side. All right, now we're ready to push him off. Over top of that front leg. Under the front, oh, there, I just tore him a little. It's all right, it ain't nothing we can't fix. Don't be scared to do it, guys. That's the big thing. Just don't be afraid of it. Get a knife and get right a hold of it. Trim that up a little more right there around that lip. And there we are. We now have a straight beaver. Straight clean. Ready to go on the board or the hoop, whichever one you choose, prefer to use. He's ready to be stretched. All right, guys, now we've got our beaver scraped. He's ready to go on our stretcher on our board. And our boards, you can either board them or hoop them, whichever one you prefer. I prefer the board myself. Boards have the marks on them to show you the sizes of the beaver that you're working with. And the easiest way to find the right size for the beaver you've got is to stretch that beaver out as far as you can. From his nose to his tail, stretch him out as far as you can. Then you count. 1, move back 2 inches, 2, move back 2 inches, he'll be on to 3, and then he'll be on that ring. That's the ring that he'll be on. So if the beaver was only out to here, we'd go 1, 2, 3. That's the ring he'd end up on. But as this one is, he's going to end up clear out here on the outside edge of the board because he's a pretty good sized beaver. Now you can either use nails and nail your beaver on, or an electric staple gun. I prefer the staple gun myself, but it's whatever you want to do. And the way you do it, pull your tail down here to the ring. And turn it on. Pull your tail down, and you want one leg well, I may have to go in and plug it in. All right, guys, sorry about that. We got the technical difficulty out of the way. So what you do, you want to pull that beaver's tail down. You want one leg of that staple in the hide, and the other leg of it in the board. Do not put your staples in like this. You want them like this. If you put them in like this, when that beaver dries, that hide is going to roll over top of them, and you talk about some buck trying to get them out. That is a job. So, and you go up here to his nose, put a pair in, then come straight across from the beaver at his belly, and again, do it again. And you come across and you split him the other way. Come to his back leg. Pull him down. I got him stretched just a little too tight. We can take care of that. And up here at his front leg, do it again. And come back to his back leg on the other side. And come to the front leg up here on the other side. Yeah, I'm going to have to loosen that head and tail up. I got him a little tight. That's okay. That's why a good handyman always carries a pair of pliers on his hip. Now turn that right here just a little bit to me. Move him down just a hair. Pull these back here at his tail. You're not technically really stretching a beaver as much as you are shaping him. And you just start around it. Your staples about an inch apart. Just like so. Back legs, pull it over, but you want to make sure that you've got fur against the leather and not leather against the leather. Otherwise it's going to spoil. Pop staple in it. Go ahead and do this back half here right quick. Do the back leg the same way. Make sure you've got fur against that leather and not leather against the leather so that it doesn't slip. Come down this side of him. Up here to the front. Same way. Staples about an inch apart. Sometimes it gets a little tight. You got to take your pliers and kind of pull him a little more. Get him where you need him. Now on these front legs, a little trick. You're actually going to trim them off just a little bit. You're not going to go crazy, but you're going to trim them just a little. Let me get my handy dandy knife out here that's probably not sharp, but we'll make it work. Pull that leg up like so and kind of cut it at an angle like that. So you got one side, I hope that's going to show up all right. So you got one side longer than the other, and then you pull it across and then staple it down. And where that hole is that I knocked in him, just pull that back around like that and staple it down. Come across here and do this other side the same way. Get tight. You got to take our pliers here and pull him to us. Out of bullets, Barney. Up another.
The other way. Right there in that little valley.
Pull that beaver to you. Get him with a few staples here. in at that front leg. Do the same thing again. Cut it at an angle, and what you're doing too, a lot of times you're getting rid of a big wad of fat that's right there around that leg by cutting it at an angle up like that. I'll go ahead and finish our beaver on out here, on this side anyway. Now we'll pull that front leg over, staple it down. Now up here to his head and his lips. If you want to, if you don't think those, if you didn't get the lips clean enough, they're not going to dry very well. They're going to kind of look rough. So go ahead and just take a knife and cut that extra flap off. It's not going to hurt a thing. In fact, it'll help you later on actually, because it'll dry better for you. We're just about done stretching the beaver. Pull that nose on around. Same thing here. And there he is, one stretch beaver. And he's ready to be hung up. Let's get some air moving on him and some heat. 3 days, that beaver will be dry. Alright guys, that's all there is to it really, to scraping and stretching the beaver. I hope this video helps some of y'all out. If you would please hit that subscribe button for me, hit that thumbs up, let Facebook know that you like this kind of content, not just for my channel, but for all the outdoor channels as well. Leave me a comment down below. I'll try to answer them back just as fast as I possibly can. Once again, this is Dale Billingsley with another one, signing out.